Rush, right?
Yeah. All right, Joey, we are live. Elon Musk tweeted out something of the effect of Adderall is an anger inducing drug. Stay away from that at all costs. And I'm just Elon Musk. And Adderall. Here we go. And I have let me see here what he said. Elon Musk. Where did he, okay. I'm looking for his, but he did something to the effect, Elon Musk has made it uncool to hate on antidepressant Adderall hero. And hi, I take offense to this non-angry way Adderall for my brain is like insulin I needed to survive and function with a brain that is not
Yeah.
okay. Go ahead. So yeah, I can't find. I was looking for the tweet. He said, "Well, Butrin is way worse than Adderall."
I've heard that. I think Jimmy was on Wellbutrin, and also Crazy Doug is a Wellbutrin dude.
Okay.
Not that it's any of your business. I just made it. You know, it's true. There's a dead end with Adderall, so it lifts you up. It lifts you up, and like everything that's kind of drug related in our culture, of course, it gets abused. And don't ask me why. It's not. It just doesn't appeal to me as that sort of like a party kind of thing. But yeah, it'll help you if you need to stay up all night. You could sleep on it. I mean, if your body needs to sleep and you take it, it'll tell you that, and you'll go to sleep. But Adderall has a cap, and if you're not like everything else, and this is the biggest, the most difficult aspect of therapy, and the problems of therapy is people need to do the work. They are caught up with the idea of what it means to do drugs, especially a highly controlled drug like Adderall. If they're doing the right work, uh, as far as like, okay, I see what I can do. When I'm tired, I usually say I'll do it tomorrow, and when I take it, I finished that one project. But if you don't give your time, you have, there's ways to. A good doctor, first of all, a good doctor probably wouldn't prescribe it, but a holistic doctor, I should say. But in our Western sort of medicine world, the idea is you build on every experience from the last, and it should raise your awareness. You should be able to see things that you may have been missing because of attention deficit. It'll help. What I like to tell people, it's one of those things that helps you keep your dog in a cage, or it helps keep your dog on a leash. And I mean that because it can really work effectively that way. But if you don't do the work like anything else in therapy, and that means processing and figuring out what could I have done differently so I could feel this way without the pill. And most people just start, doing the refills, getting their fill, and they go on and they go on, and it eventually wears the body down, just like any other drug would. So there's my little bloviation on that.
Now, someone just made a comment that's an American thing. Never heard about the ADHD Adderall situation in
Right.
Europe.
Oh yeah, I don't. Oh, I didn't know that. Europe is known for things like MDMA or ecstasy on and it's like they're like big producers of that, and it has a very similar effect, but in a different kind of maybe a little bit more deeper way. But certainly, I didn't think that the UK was any stranger to ADD. That is odd. There are countries that don't really recognize it, so like in South Korea, they are not they're not big on diagnosing and all that. But they do have not a brutal, but a very. It's interesting. They have a very interesting social stratum that they use. So if someone is, fat, he may get a special nickname. He's the fat one. Or if one guy is a player, he gets around, he meets girls, he easily gets along well with the girls. He gets the nickname Playboy or something like that. Men, when you go out, and women, when you go out with Koreans, with adults, um, people have a certain ranking almost. So if you're older, you automatically get some, different sort of respect from the others. If you're married, that you get respect from your guests or the people that you're with. There's certain things, and it's a very kind of interesting stratum, but yeah, ADD isn't mentioned a whole lot over there. Did any of that make sense to you, Brian? Did you hear that?
I did hear that, and I'm kind of thinking that um, I know that Japan does. I mean, like I know. I thought Japan did not recognize ADHD, but they do. But I think they handle it differently, and I don't know if Adderall is an accepted drug. And also, is Adderall, are these ADHD drugs the only alternative? Are there any natural things that people can do, dietary things that people can do to help them focus and be more efficient?
If you haven't heard of the Gershon method has some very interesting claims, and at one time were a very big and growing holistic medicine type of I don't know what you call it even. It was I guess like a program. I guess you can compare it to like Weight Watchers, for example, but it was heavy. You'd probably hate it. It was heavily there was like fruits. There's a lot of fruits and vegetables, and they were all very specific fruits and vegetables and unique to the whatever kind of biochemistry they can come up with for the person. And Gershon got actually booted out of, I think she was in San Diego, so she had to open her offices in Tijuana. And but I think the old Gershon lived to a pretty ripe old age. She died a couple years back, but I know that is very popular, and it works hand in hand with mental health for sure. It's a big thing. And in the Gerson case, there's even a testimony that the diets can reverse cancer and other pretty severe ailments. So definitely worth looking into, and not a BS kind of thing. It's Gershon's been around quite a while.
Well, they just recently came, because I'm type 2 diabetic, and they have recently, mentioned the benefits of fasting. And when I'm fasting, my blood sugar is down, and I notice that my numbers, my A1C is down as well. So, and I don't know if it's the medical field wanting people to buy these medications, or, who knows. And there is, a thing like, yeah, I mean, the people who make money off of Adderall, the people who make money off of big pharma,
Yeah.
uh, they may be, they may be in cahoots, and they don't want alternative things out there that make their profit. Now, I know that Japan does not have special education, and I believe that special education is really poverty education. Because basically, a lot of these people wouldn't even be able to serve in our armed forces. They wouldn't even be able to score high enough on the ASVAB to and they said over 50% of the people today that take the entrance exam for the military do not pass, and that's only about a sixth grade education. From my understanding, I could be wrong on that. It might be eighth grade. But yeah, over 50% are unable to pass, at least when they first take it.
Nice.
And that's
Yeah.
what I've heard. I could be wrong on that. That was Dr. Ben Carson that said that. And I think he was accurate on those numbers. By the
Yeah.
way,
I just did an interview with Ben Carson.
Dr. Ben Carson?
Yeah, last week.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. On Shift Happens on Friday. Really nice guy.
Ben, the black the neurosurgeon. I never knew that. He's a man of Stoic calm, by the way.
I did not know he. I could probably reach out to him and try to get him on our show too. He's a really nice guy, but I didn't realize how popular he was until after the show was over. I took a look around and I was like, "Oh man!"
What made him come on the show?
So, Gigi, I think, and Gigi had met him. These conferences are really great payoffs. And we met him. He met him first there, and he's kind enough to come on, and I'll get you the link for that. Yeah, it was a real good show. A lot of people liked it.
Well,
he has a lot of interesting information. I don't agree with it all, but he's definitely got a good angle.
Yeah, but when we're talking about education and the education system here in the United States, I don't know if their path is effective in getting kids to really make the most of their economic value. I think they are failing them, and probably our pharmaceutical companies are also perhaps failing them as well. And we should be looking more seriously into alternatives. Now, they may not work, and they may not be effective, but Adderall certainly has its side effects.
Oh yeah. It's certainly it's probably very. I don't know. It's for me. It's not, but it seems easy to abuse, and I've enjoyed the experiment because I'm not really big into pharmaceuticals at all. So I'm not not planning to stay on it long. Just wanted to see what it could do for me, and it works as it's as we're told, as the rumors are true. Very effective. I think it's one of, if not the most prescribed medication at the moment. Are we getting any comments? No, nothing happening yet.
sneezed, but we got one comment, and one of them just said, "I prefer Xanax." And there are a lot of
Yes.
the great
Now,
Piazzadora.
a lot of people, a lot of people take a lot of Adderall. Will use Xanax to take the edge off, but some people just need to take the edge off. Period. And so, Pia, you're wonderful in so many movies, and I'm glad that Xanax is your little helper.
And I think we're going to be doing a more deeper dive, hopefully a more deeper dive into cinema and the media itself, and how they change perspectives within society, and they basically fool with people's perceptions in more ways than one. And I'll kind of get into that. I think there's a case perhaps for mass, what did they call it, mass psychosis, or I forget the term, but there was someone who had that term. And a lot of our cinema and movies have always dealt.
I think the word was bullquackery is what you're looking for.
There we go, Joey. But movies have always played on myths, and a lot of people have taken the cinema and the movies to heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something that they should do. I mean, some movies make you think, and they can be inspirational, but don't take it. I think it's really wrong to take it as reality. I mean, a lot of things are, are a dramatization, and they are they do things for cinematic purposes and not realistic purposes, and that's the whole thing with cinema. And it's kind of the thing with Adderall. I mean, there are people that benefit from it, and there are things that make it worse. And all body types are different on how they will be able to handle these things. And it's kind of a talk about like legalizing all drugs, and us being adults, where we can decide what we digest in our bodies, and we don't need the FDA and the big drugs come. I mean, these government telling us what is best, because a lot of times they've made a lot of mistakes over the years, and we may want to look into maybe a more freer and open society when it comes to this sort of thing. Joey, I think I'm going to end it on that, and we will be looking at alternatives.
Are you suggesting that they legalize everything?
I'm saying that that's something we should look into. I'm not saying that that's a good idea or a bad idea, but it's certainly something that we should definitely look into, and definitely look into different alternatives. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that if the internet really is about the age of information, because we want you people listening to decide what is or is not good information. And I think that you either believe what I'm saying makes things better, or you don't, or the person or the guest believes that what they're saying is true, or you don't. But I guess do your own research and decide at the end for yourself what you want to believe and what you don't. Joey, do you have anything to add before I end this show? Joey? Joe?
You never got to Elon Musk.
Well, I did say that Elon Musk, I thought I said Elon Musk in the beginning of the show, said that Adderall was an anger-producing drug and should be avoided at all cost. But he's allowed to say things like that.
Well, this is typical of somebody who is a talking head like that, who has an opportunity to reach millions of minds. Well, why isn't he promoting education?
Yeah, but here's the deal. Elon Musk, he's able to say whatever he wants, and he even said people who criticize me are welcome on the platform. I'm criticizing him I'm saying that it should, it should be looked at. I wish he had said something more diplomatic and said, we should look into the side effects and alternatives to Adderall, because I think that is something to be looked at, and there are other alternatives to Adderall. Maybe they work and maybe they don't, but I don't know how much they've been discussed, how much diet and nutrition have been discussed in battling things like ADHD and ADD and other forms of learning disability. So it's just a thought out there. All right, Joey, is there anything to add? Anything else to add before I end this show? I'm waiting for your reply. And if you do not reply, that means you cannot reply. But we will be back, and I think we will be talking about a lot about fact or fiction. And we want the
Sorry, I just meant to add that at the top of Elon Musk's resume is actor. And do you want to take your medical advice from someone like Elon Musk? At the end of the day, do you want to take advice from Elon Musk? Maybe Pia Zadora would, but not me. My body knows best. And I think that's a horrible trend to consider weighing out the advice given out on Twitter by Elon Musk. I think it's a huge mistake. And know thyself. How could you love thy neighbor if you cannot love thyself? So
that's something I don't know if I can agree with, but and I have to ponder that. But like I said, Elon Musk welcomes people who disagree with him.
well, this is typical of right wing. They've helped damage the education system altogether, and they have ruined the ability of younger generations just as much as the left and their ability to use critical thinking. And it's sad. I'm not saying they all want that. I'm just saying that's just the system they participate in. So, if we want to see a true change, then it should come from those people who do know better, and they should get on board with a real discussion about these things instead of a fear campaign like Nancy Reagan. Pia Zadora clearly remembers Nancy Reagan in her heyday.
Well, I wanted to, you know what? I mean, again, both left and right have their myths, and we will go into that. I think we will go into the evolution of media. I don't want to go as far back as the plays. We'll go as far back as the beginning of cinema,
Okay.
and then we'll go further into media itself, and how internet has changed things, because you can't present yourself the way you did anymore. You're going to get mocked. The people in the town square, if you say something foolish, is going to put you up to blast. Anyway, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Visit our website. We are working on that. Try to visit our Rumble page. I'm going to start putting a few more shows on private. I think we'll discuss with Joey. But just, we want, I want things to change a little bit. No profanity or limited profanity, and more thoughtful and less angry. I have a problem with anger myself, and I'm working on that.
I don't have a problem with profanity, but again, it's about getting a wider list. If it means the difference between getting a wider listenership, sure. There are a million ways to describe a dickhead. So I agree. Let's roll out, and thank you for listening to Transparency and Merit.
Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, even share the video if you can. Thank you guys for listening.